Hello and welcome back to the daily news quiz analysis for IAS Prelims 2025. It is 20th March today, and in this video we are going to discuss few important questions which are very much relevant for your preparation. But before we will start our discussion, as usual, I would like to give the brief introduction about this initiative so that if you are new to our channel you will get more connected with us. Basically in this video we are going to discuss various types of questions, and if I will be precise in that, we are going to discuss three types of questions which would be taken from three different sources. So depending on it, the first set of questions which we are going to discuss here would be taken from the current affairs. What we are going to do here, we will take up the most important articles from the newspapers. We are going to break them down into the simplest language possible, and we are going to derive the possible prelims questions from those particular articles so that it will give the idea which part of the newspaper is important for you, what should be your approach when you are reading these news articles, and how you can expect a possible prelims question from those particular topics. This is in a nutshell what we are going to do in the first phase of our discussion. After solving questions with respect to current affairs, we will shift our approach to the another part. Here we will discuss questions from the static portion. Currently we are discussing Indian polity, and in Indian polity we are discussing the Parliament of India. And in Parliament of India today we are going to discuss few more concepts related to Rajya Sabha, and we will derive the possible prelims questions related to those concepts so that it will give the idea how exactly a question can come in the exam with respect to these topics. After solving questions with respect to current affairs and the static part, we will shift our approach to the last part of our discussion. Here we will solve questions from the previous year question book. To me this is the most important part, because in here we will learn what is the vocabulary used by UPSC for framing your papers, what are the different trends they tend to follow for framing your papers, and also at the same time we will try to learn what can be the different methods which we can implement in the exam if we don't have the proper knowledge of the question, and also at the same time we will try to learn how we can implement this information in the upcoming exam. So this is in a nutshell what we are going to do in this video. Now before we will start our discussion, I would like to request you guys, please do subscribe the channel. When you subscribe us, it motivates us to work more hard on these topics and provide you the best information possible. It is a kind of acknowledgement from your side, so please do subscribe it, do share it with your friends so that they may also get benefited from this initiative, and please do write in the comments what else should we bring for you guys. With this, let's have a look at the first question which we had brought today. As here on the screen you can see, the question is about the gerrymandering, a process followed during, usually it is we can say blamed, or we can say it is accused that political parties favor this during the delimitation process. So why we had brought this question here, that we will discuss after solving the question. First we will solve the question, we will understand what this gerrymandering is. Here the question says, which of the following statements best describes the practice of gerrymandering in the context of electoral processes? First statement: the process of ensuring equitable representation of all social groups in electoral constituencies. Totally incorrect. It is not related to that. Third statement: the implementation of strict campaign finance regulations to prevent undue influence. Totally incorrect. Fourth statement: the use of electronic voting machines to ensure accurate and transparent vote counting. Totally incorrect. The second statement, it says the manipulation of electoral boundaries to favor a particular political party or group. 100% exactly, it is true. So why we are discussing this question? Basically from last few months there has been the discussion over the delimitation. We are discussing it. We saw that we discussed what are the various amendments related to it, how it was frozen earlier for the 25 years, then it was and in 2001 when the census was done, the number of seats in the Lok Sabha were frozen, but a number of seats were frozen, but delimitation was done, alteration of the boundaries were done, but further it was frozen till the census would be till the another set till 2026. After that, once the census would be carried out, then the delimitation will be done. So with respect to this, there has been various discussions which we had already done, which we had already understood. We understood what are various amendments related to it. So with respect to today's discussion, there was basically the idea, what idea was discussed here, that here the author here wants the audience or wants the government to understand that what we had done in Jammu and Kashmir and Assam, we should not repeat that mistake here also. As earlier we saw that before 2 years, we saw that there was delimitation carried out in Jammu and Kashmir, and we saw that how the number of seats increased there, but that number of seats were not, according to the author, they were not in a very equitable manner. We saw that in Jammu region, the number of seats increased, 6 seats increased there, but in Kashmir region, only one seat increased. So definitely there is discussion over it. As Jammu being majority Hindu, the majority in Jammu is Hindus, so it was believed that this alteration was done to favor the political party in power right now. But these are just allegations from the people. But how far they are true, that is not the discussion. This news in itself is not the discussion, but what we need to know is this process, this gerrymandering, as it is associated with it, that once the boundaries are altered in the delimitation to favor any political party, this concept is called gerrymandering. So please do remember that a prelims based question about it can be asked. So this with respect to Jammu and Kashmir, what had happened there, you don't need to know. Just remember that 7 seats were increased there. Don't go to the conflict that in Jammu region 6 were increased and in Kashmir 1 only. Why it was done? So this is not your concern, so you don't have to know that. But what you need to know, how many seats were raised there, what lessons we can learn from them, we need to know that. This concept we need to know. So with this, I hope you had understood the question, and there was much more in the article itself, but we had already covered that, so repeating it again and again does not make any sense. Repeating questions over them does not make any sense, because we had covered, I guess, from last 1 month we are covering delimitation, and I believe if any question about delimitation would be asked in the exam, I believe if you would have followed my videos, you could be able to solve any question related to delimitation. So with this, let's move to the another slide and see what question we had brought there. As here, the question is with respect to the difference between freebies and welfare schemes. The question is talking about the difference between freebies and welfare schemes. Why it is in the news? Because the Vice President has called for a meeting where they would discuss, why they would debate on freebies and welfare scheme. So here it is very much, the line between the two is very much blur, and usually whenever you will in a way you will approach to any political party and say them that what you are giving it is a freebie, but in any way they will convince you that it is not a freebie, it is a welfare scheme. So in nutshell, what I'm trying to say here, that there is a very thin line between the freebies and the welfare scheme. For example, we'll take an example here. For example, usually in the South Indian states, the freebie culture is very much at the next level, and they had promised that there would be, if they will vote in their way, they will give the color TV sets to the families. So when it was asked to them, isn't it a freebie that you are providing the color TV sets to the family? So you know what they replied, that these women at their homes, they work whole day, but they are not paid, their contribution is not included in the GDP. So this freebies which we will give to them, this color TV set, it will, all the day she is exhausted, and at the night when she would want to rest, it will give her that relaxation. She will watch movies on it, it will give her that content, it will give her that relaxation, and also she will develop knowledge through news channels. She would develop the knowledge, she will develop the idea whom I should vote. So this is not a freebie, it is a welfare scheme. It will develop her mentality, it will develop her psyche, and also it will give her the relief what she is craving for. So this is the reply. So in this way you cannot in a way, if you will hear the argument given by the political parties, you will definitely get confused. Even if anything they will give, you will feel the argument they will give after that, you will feel that indeed it is a welfare scheme. So how we can differentiate? Now the real question is how we can differentiate a freebie and a welfare scheme. So the major difference, the broader line which you should always remember, that if any scheme is favored for any person, for example any scheme is particular to any person, any group of people, and this then it is an for example there is a scheme and it is a scheme, it is favored for there is person A and person B, these are the group of persons. If this scheme is particular to group B and unfortunately it is its benefit is getting to the it is benefit is harvested by group A also, so then what it becomes welfare scheme for group A, and it becomes it becomes freebies for group A and welfare scheme for group B. So this you should know. This is the, if any scheme, it is very much addressed specific to socio-economic vulnerabilities for of any community, then it is an welfare scheme. But if it is harvested by any other another group who do not need it actually, then it becomes an freebie. So this is the difference you should know. This is the broader lines you should understand what is the difference between the two, and rather rest we will learn through this question how we can differentiate the two. Here the question says, consider the following statements regarding the distinction between freebies and welfare schemes. Here first statement, welfare schemes are typically targeted and aim to address specific socio-economic vulnerabilities, while freebies often have broader, less targeted distribution. 100% correct. Welfare schemes, they are addressed to specific socio-economic vulnerabilities, whereas freebies often have broader or less targeted distribution. So first statement is correct. Second statement, welfare schemes are generally funded through budgetary allocation and are subjected to fiscal scrutiny, whereas freebies may rely on ad hoc or unsustainable funding mechanism. 100% correct. Nothing wrong with the statement. Third statement, welfare schemes primarily focus on creating long-term capabilities and self-reliance, while freebies tend to provide immediate short-term benefits. 100% correct. So with respect to this question, the correct option would be option D, that is 1, 2 and 3, all the three statements are correct. With this, I hope you had understood the concept, the primary distinction between the freebies and the welfare scheme, and also you had understood the context of this question, why we had brought it here. With this, let's move to the another slide and see what question we had brought there. Here the question is talking about the United Nations Convention Against Torture and Other Cruel, Inhuman or Degrading Treatment or Punishment. So it is a United Nations Convention Against Torture, we can say in simpler words, United Nations Convention Against Torture. So why we are discussing this news, India has not ratified this convention, and this is one of the drawback of many things which we will discuss here. For example, if anybody does any crime here, anybody loots anything in India, or he does any crime in India, and what he does, he will shift to the another country. He will go to the tax haven countries like Ireland, or he will shift to Dubai or any other country, or London. He will stay there and ask for asylum or anything. He will not be and he will live peacefully there. But how we can, if we want that person to come back to our country, what would be the way? And the way that is available for us to get that person back, to get that criminal back, to get that accused person back, is extradition. So extradition is the only way to get that person back. So but with respect to this extradition, this is the way, but people are very smart. You trust me one thing here, if anybody is able to duke the country, he is very smart enough to understand the laws. So there is an issue with respect to this. India has not signed this United Nations Convention Against Torture. So there are accusations that India, if any accused is there, he can go through the torture. So what will happen? These people who are being asked for the extradition, they will go to the courts. They will say to the courts in their country where they are living right now, they will say there that, sir, we are not willing to go to India because we may be tortured there, as India has not signed this treaty. So with respect to this, the courts in that particular country are obliged, they can restrict their travel to that particular country. And it has been seen with respect to many personalities recently. Sanjay Bandari is one such person who approached to the London High Court, London Court, and London Court agreed with him, and his extradition was stopped. Similarly, recently we had discussed about the Tahoor Rana, who is one of the accused with respect to the Tahoor Rana, who is accused with respect to the Mumbai attacks. Mumbai attacks, and he has went to the United States court, and now he is giving the same reason is that India has not signed this convention, so please stop my extradition to that particular country. So yet the final decision about it has not came, but here the author raises this concern that India should go and sign this convention because it has impacted the justice system in India, and also the author urged courts that they should frame regulations with respect that they should ask the executive that they should frame the laws with respect to that. So this is in a nutshell why we are discussing this question. Now with this, let's solve the question here and get more idea about it. Here the question says, regarding the United Nations Convention Against Torture and Other Cruel, Inhuman and Degrading Treatment or Punishment, consider the following statements. First statement, the convention defines torture as any act by which severe pain or suffering, whether physical or mental, is intentionally inflicted for purposes such as obtaining information or a confession. 100% correct. Second statement, state parties to the convention are obligated to take effective legislative, administrative, judicial or other measures to prevent acts of torture within their territories. 100% correct. Third statement, the convention allows for the extradition of individuals to another state where there are substantial grounds for believing they would be in danger of being subjected to torture. This is totally incorrect, and that is the exact opposite of it has been used by many people to not come to India. So third statement is incorrect. Fourth statement, the convention allows for torture during times of war. No, it does not allow for torture in any circumstances. So with respect to this question, the correct statements are statement 1 and statement 2 only. So with this, I hope you had understood the question as well as the context of the question. Now let's move to the another slide and see what question we had brought there. Here the question is regarding the Five Eyes Intelligence Alliance. Why we are discussing this news? Because right now the New Zealand is in India, so it naturally becomes important for us to have the understanding of this alliance. So let's discuss it. Let's see what question we had brought on it, what we can take from this question. Here the question says, consider the following statements regarding the Five Eyes Intelligence, Five Eyes Intelligence Alliance. First statement is a multilateral intelligence alliance comprising the United States, the United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. 100% correct. It was brought in 1946. So it is the oldest intelligence alliance. So first statement is 100% correct. Second statement, the alliance primarily focuses on sharing signals, intelligence, and cybersecurity for information. 100% correct. Nothing wrong with the statement. Third statement, the alliance was formally established after the end of the Cold War to counter emerging cyber threats. Totally incorrect. This does not make sense. Fourth statement, the alliance openly shares all collected data with all members of the United States. No, it does not share with all members of the United States. So with respect to this question, the correct statements are statement 1, statement and statement 2 only, and from the code given below, the correct code would be option A. With this, I hope you had understood this topic as well. You had got the basic understanding of this topic as well. So with this, let's move to the another slide and see what question we had brought there. Here the question is from the Sahitya Academy Awards. Why it is in news? Because there is a controversy regarding that it is first time that for the first time there has been no award in the Bengali literature. So that's why it is in news. So with respect to this, let's try to understand these important facts which can be very much relevant for your prelims preparation. Here the question says, consider the following statements regarding the Sahitya Academy Awards. First statement, the Sahitya Academy Awards are given annually for outstanding literary works in the 24 languages recognized by the Sahitya Academy. 100% correct. What are these 24 languages? It is 22 are recognized by the 8th schedule, and 2 extra languages. What are those 2 extra languages? It is English and Rajasthani. So these are the 24 languages. Then second statement, the award recognizes translations of literary works in addition to original works. Usually it is based on the original works, but it do recognize the translations of the literary works also. So second statement is also True. Third statement, only Indian citizens residing within India are eligible for Sahitya Academy Awards. No, there it is not based on the Indian citizen residence. It is based on the nationality. It is only available for the Indian nationals. So third statement is incorrect. He should not be the dual citizen. So definitely third statement is incorrect. Fourth statement, posthumous awards are given in exceptional circumstances. No, posthumous awards are given not in exceptional circumstances if that person is worthy of getting that. For example, within 5 years, this award would be given if this book is published before the 5 years of getting the award. So in these 5 years, if that person would have died after publishing this book in after publishing the book in the 5 years, he would have died. And his work was exceptional, his work was worthy of getting the award, he will be given the award. There is no exceptional circumstances related to that. So fourth statement is incorrect. So with respect to this question, the correct statements are statement 1 and statement 2 only. So with this, I hope you had understood the question as well as the context of the question. Now let's move to the another part of our discussion where we will solve questions from the static portion. Today's question, it revolves around the legislative powers of the Rajya Sabha. As you know, currently we are discussing the Indian Parliament, and today Indian Parliament. Currently we are discussing, Indian polity, and in Indian polity we are discussing Indian Parliament, and in Indian Parliament we are discussing Rajya Sabha. So today's discussion, from today we are going to discuss the powers of the Rajya Sabha. As in the powers of the Rajya Sabha, there is discussion over the we need to understand what are the legislative powers, what are the constituent powers, what are the financial, what are the deliberatory powers, what are the disciplinary powers, and what are federal powers. But here today's discussion would revolve around the legislative powers that we will understand. Here we will understand that through this question. The question says, regarding the legislative powers of the Rajya Sabha in Indian Parliament, consider the following statement. First statement, the Rajya Sabha has equal powers with the Lok Sabha in the passage of ordinary bill. 100% correct. The legislation is the most important business of the Rajya Sabha. The power of the Rajya Sabha is equal to the Lok Sabha in all cases of legislation except the money bill. Except money bill, the power of the Rajya Sabha is almost equal to the Lok Sabha. So here, with respect to this question, the Rajya Sabha has equal powers with the Lok Sabha in the passage of ordinary bill. 100% correct. Second statement, about the other bills, irrespective of money bill, a bill can be introduced in either house of the parliament. A bill has to be passed by each house of the parliament and receive presidential assent before it becomes an act of the parliament. In the event of deadlock between the two houses on a bill, other than money bill or an constitutional amendment bill, the issue is resolved via joint session. So here second statement says the Rajya Sabha can initiate a money bill. No, it does not. There is an exceptional to the money bill. It cannot initiate a money bill. Third statement, a Rajya Sabha has special powers to authorize parliament to legislate on matters of the state list. 100% correct. Fourth statement, in a case of a deadlock between the two houses on an ordinary bill, the president can summon a joint sitting of both houses where the decision is taken by the simple majority. 100% correct. And who will preside over the joint sitting? It is the speaker of the Lok Sabha. Not it is, so remember that. So with respect to this question, the correct statements are statement 1, statement 3, and statement 4. And from the code given below, the correct code would be option C. So with this, I hope you had understood the legislative powers of the Rajya Sabha. They are basically the powers related to bills. How they can be introduced. What is the power of the Rajya Sabha with respect to rejecting the bill? If it is money bill, then what are the powers? If it is an ordinary bill, then what are the powers? So I hope you have, and if it is constitutional bill, what are the powers? So with this, I hope you had understood the topic as well as you had got the basic understanding of this question. Now with this, let's move to the last part of our discussion where we'll solve a previous year question. Here the question says, which one of the countries is the leading producer of uranium? So with respect to this, question, first we should know that this question was asked in 2006. So since 2006, the technologies had improved, the need for these materials had increased. So we can assume that the data which was available in 2006 is not same as what is available in 2025. So with respect to this question, we should know that what is the current status. What does the current data say? A question about it can be asked, and the options may be same or may there would be slight change in the options, but same question can be asked because data has changed till now. So let's solve the question here. Let's see what is the answer with respect to this question. As the question says, which one of the following countries is the leading producer of the uranium? To this question, if we will look at the current situation, with respect to these countries, it would be the Canada. But if overall we will see which is the leading producer of uranium, then in overall we can see Kazakhstan is the largest producer of uranium. It is Kazakhstan which is the largest producer of uranium. So please do remember that. And if we will see what is the total output of the uranium from Kazakhstan, it is 24,575 tons, around 25,000 tons, and 39% of the global uranium supply is from the Kazakhstan. And other largest, if we will see what are the other largest country producers of uranium, it would be first Kazakhstan, Canada, Australia, Niger, Namibia, and Russia. These are the other top producers of uranium. So with this, I hope you would have understood today's discussion. I would like to conclude it now. Thank you for staying with me. Thank you very much and have a nice day.